Kurt Vonnegut, Unstuck in Time, a documentary by Robert Weide about the American author Kurt Vonnegut, who rose to prominence when Slaughterhouse-5 was published. So Slaughterhouse-5 was based on Vonnegut's experience of being a prisoner of war in the firebombing of Dresden, which you and I were actually talking about last night. The events had proved too terrible to write about, and he had tried to do it before until he introduced an element of science fiction. Billy Pilgrim, a character who is unstuck in time, who is taken to Tralfamadore, where he learns that all time can actually be looked at in a linear way. This was clearly, incidentally, the basis of the short story on which the film which you love, Arrival, was based. You know, the Ted Chiang short story, the story of you, I think it's called. And Vonnegut's whole thing about the approach to time, that's where the title comes from. Billy Pilgrim has come unstuck in time. Kurt Vonnegut's unstuck in time. Also, he discovers that the only way of approaching genuinely horrifying subject matter is with humour. Here's a clip.
When I was a child, and there were many serious things going on, such as the Great Depression and all that, it was Laurel and Hardy who gave me permission not to take life seriously. And it turned out that it was okay to laugh your head off. Life was a very serious business, and it inspired me to try and write funny books. That this was a good thing to do with a life, is to be funny.
And I think that that's key to it, is the humour and the way in which science fiction opened up a way of talking about the real world through fantasy. There is a huge archive of Vonnegut family material that the director has access to. This project started decades ago, and in fact, one of the things the film is about making the film, because the director had gone to Vonnegut many, many years ago, said, I'd like to do this. And then he filmed him over a really long period of time, up to and including his death. And but the documentary just refused to be finished, and now it is finished. I'm a huge Vonnegut fan. I met him when I was at Manchester University. He came to do a talk. I was such a fanboy, and I got him to sign my book for me. We see in this documentary how fame affected his life, how he came to mean so much to so many. I mean, I was one of those fans. And then what happened to the family when that happened. We learn of the loss of loved ones, the trials, the tribulations. We also, I mean, it's interesting, Vonnegut's books have often resisted filming. I mean, Slaughterhouse-5 was made into a fairly successful movie, but things like Breakfast of Champions completely defeated filmmakers. Weirdly enough, the best Vonnegut adaptation on screen by a mile is Mother Night, which is by Robert Weide, who of course directed this documentary, which goes some way to explaining why it is that this doc for me gets under the skin of Vonnegut. I'm a total Vonnegut bore. I have always been a huge fan of his. Like so many people, I discovered him because somebody at school said, you need to read this. And they gave me a copy of God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, and it changed my life. And I think this doc is really lovely. If you're a Vonnegut fan, you'll love it. If you're not, it's a great introduction to a brilliant author.